So God, the source of all ability to think, feel, and act, is only sending out purely loving feelings and purely wise thoughts. Well, so everybody in the world is 100% loving and wise, right? Are we ourselves totally loving and wise? So then how does all that goodness turn into evil? We looked in lesson 1 at how a resource like a rock can be used well or badly. A sense of autonomy can be used well or badly. Autonomy, or experiencing life as an individual, is a gift from God. And it's an important resource for our happiness. And like with any gift, we can choose how to use it. A sense of autonomy leads to a choice between still acknowledging God as the source of everything, or buying into the external appearance of a separated self. Acknowledging God as the source of everything leads to staying connected to God's love for everyone. Buying into the external appearance of a separated self leads to seeing self as more important and wise than others. So we can misuse autonomy. Since it is a law of divine providence that we can act freely and rationally, and since it is also a law of divine providence that whatever we do seems to be done by us, and therefore to be ours, it follows that we can misuse these abilities. We can freely and rationally justify anything we please. We can take anything we please and make it rational, whether it is inherently rational or not. With his spiritual sight opened, Swedenborg was able to actually see how thoughts and feelings that originated in God were twisted and turned into evil.
Something true from the Word was let down from heaven and taken hold of by people in the upper levels of hell. They sent it on down to the lower hells, all the way to the lowest. Step by step along this path, the truth turned into falsity, finally into a falsity absolutely opposite to the truth. The people who were changing it thought they themselves were thinking up this falsity. That was all they knew, and yet the falsity was that truth flowing down from heaven on its way to the lowest hell, that truth falsified and distorted. The same thing happens to what is good. When this flows down from heaven, it is turned step by step into the evil that is opposite to it.
So what would that be like? Let's imagine an example of a particular concept from the Word getting changed into its opposite. Let's say we started with the truth that God feels compassion and mercy toward everyone. Then as it descends, it turns into God feels compassion and mercy toward everyone who is worthy. And then God feels compassion and mercy toward the people who I think are worthy. God approves of people who are like me. God is angry at people who are not like me and condemns them. God is irrelevant. I decide who is worthy. I'm angry at people who are not like me. I condemn them. I have a right to abuse people I don't like. I feel compassion and mercy toward no one but myself. Yipes! So evil spirits can really mess up God's thought material. But they don't even realize that it's God's material. Swedenborg saw that evil spirits were certain that they were thinking up thoughts all by themselves. All of heaven's angels admit that no one can originate a thought, that all thinking comes from the Lord, while all the spirits of hell claim that thought cannot originate in anyone but themselves. Actually, these spirits have been shown any number of times that none of them are originating their own thoughts, that they cannot, that it is all flowing in, but to no effect. They are unwilling to accept it. However, experience will teach, first of all, that even for spirits in hell, every bit of thought and feeling is flowing in from heaven. The problem is that the inflowing good is being turned into evil in hell, and the truth is being turned into falsity. Everything becomes its opposite. We're all now born into a system in which the thoughts and feelings that flow into our minds are originating from God, but flowing through different networks that affect the nature of those thoughts and feelings before they reach us. Our minds are affected by people in the afterlife who embrace what God sends out, who Swedenborg calls angels and good spirits, and by people who distort what God sends out, who Swedenborg calls evil spirits or devils or Satans. And that's how we get to what life is like day to day. Let's recap. A misuse of our sense of autonomy sets us up to twist the good thoughts and feelings that come from God to serve our own egocentric purposes. All thoughts move through a network of connected spirits that change the content along its way before it reaches us. What starts in God as loving and wise can end up as its complete opposite. In Lesson 4, let's look at the way we humans were designed to be receivers, and how our lives are a process of choosing what kind of receivers we want to be.